let me introduce myself. My name is Yulia Moiseeva. I'm a registered migration agent. I'm residing on the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. And we are processing a lot of different visas for Australia, including skilled visas. So today I would like to talk about one of the most favorite type of visa, permanent residency through independent skilled stream. So subclass 189 visa. So everybody wants that type of visa because it gives you freedom to live everywhere, anywhere in Australia and work anywhere in Australia. At the same time, it gives you freedom to choose whether you would like to work or would like to change your career or do anything else with that. And of course, it gives you status, so permanent residency to live in Australia indefinitely. This type of visas is linked to skilled stream, point-tested visa. So what does that mean? Every candidate can be selected based on the point-based system, where the candidates are assessed against age, English language criteria, English language for spouse and skills for spouse, if spouse will be included. Then is your qualification, so whether you have vocational, bachelor degree or PhD master degree, whether you've done your qualification in Australia or not, years of your work experience, and many other factors. When we're going to be looking at these visas, so the numbers of these visas are dropped significantly through pandemic, but we're going to be expecting a raise or revive of these visas for next financial year. That's why I decided to talk about it soon enough. So this type of visas is processed based on lodgement of so-called expression of interest, where you will be ranked within your occupation, and then the system of the government will be pretty much automatically selecting these candidates based on ranking, based on time when the expression of interest was lodged. And then further, you will be invited to apply for the visa. So you need to make sure that for your expression of interest, you are claiming correct points, first of all. Then you need to make sure you choose the occupation that's going to be in the list. And obviously you can compete with your points, because absolute bottom line minimum is 65 points, but it's not going to be enough for you to compete within other candidates. So in order to consider this type of visa, please do understand that once you apply for expression of interest, that's not a visa as yet. It's just for you to express the interest that you would like to be invited, and hence you cannot control this process of selection, process of when your potential application can be selected. The selection rounds are currently run every quarter, so you will have 4 opportunities per year and 8 opportunities within the duration of your expression of interest. And then again, you don't know, even if you look at the statistics, it's hard to predict when you may expect the invitation. But as I said, statistics for the previous year was that this type of visas were widely used by Department of Home Affairs and used to be around 44,000 a year. Though during the COVID period, we experienced a drop up to 7,000, so a significant drop. And the department would like to revive those visas and start again inviting the highly skilled and bright candidate. So in order to compete within this ranking and scoring system, you need to make sure that you will use all possible opportunities to get points. Potential where you can get the points is your English skill level. So it's IELTS or PTE widely used, or any other potential other tests that are accepted by Department of Home Affairs. When you're going to be looking at statistical data from the previous invitation round and based on particular occupation, you can see roughly that the good points where you can potentially expect some sort of movement of your application, maybe from 85. So potentially, if we talk about who is the best candidate for that sort of visa, It can be a person within 25 to 32 years of age, roughly, to accumulate the best possible points. This person would like to achieve English proficient, meaning IELTS 7 or more. Also, this person is likely to be a holder of bachelor degree or above, with at least 8 years of work experience to again accumulate points. Then if you're single, you automatically will be granted another 10 points just for that. If you have a partner, that's wise to see if your partner can give you at least 5 points for English test, where the partner has to be at least at competent level, so IELTS 6. Or in this case, maybe your partner can bring you skills and English, which in combination can give you overall 10 points. So if we're talking about where else you can accumulate potential points while you're going to be overseas, it's certainly NATI test, the test where you pair your mother tongue language and English and pass certain exam, which gives you plus 5 points. That's going to be potentially the best candidate within the ranking system. Then, if you happen to be onshore or you're planning to be onshore in terms of your qualification or extra upskilling, you can certainly have a look at research programs that may give you more points within the ranking. Obviously, department may look at location of the applicants, and if you're onshore, potentially you can get a priority of selection depending on department's needs and current plan. Also, it may be linked to the occupation. For example, if department may say, okay, we would like to have more nurses in this round, then the potential more places can be granted for nursing rather than any other applicants. In terms of building up points, when people are coming onshore, you can also consider building up points based on your studying in Australia. So it can be only primary applicant who is studying on student visa. Then regional study, so study in Australia in general and then adding up points through regional studying. Then if you're already a professional who is coming to seek further upskilling, say, and do master degree, you can also consider starting to search for work in order to accumulate more points with your Australian work experience, which may also happen for those who already got bachelor degree from overseas or any other degree that can give you a good start with your career, with your points. So in this case, you see it's all based on strategic planning rather than certain occupation or certain points. So you will not be able to tell that, okay, I'm an accountant, I certainly get this invitation based on 70 points. So it's hard to predict and unlikely nobody will going to give you any indication of that. When you're going to be looking at this visa and with coming changes and expectation from the department to increase the quota for this visa, it's likely to be influx of new applications. So you need to understand once you're ready with your skill assessment and your English, bottom line English for 6, and obviously at least 65 points, you can still lodge your expression of interest. And while the expression of interest is still in the system with a certain date of lodgement, you can still improve your points, say by taking your English test again, or by taking NATI test again, or if your partner is willing to contribute to your points. And during that time, you may spend another 3 to 6 months upgrading your skills and upgrading your points. And at this time, your expression of interest is reaching the queue. And once you update your points, you may increase your chances to get the invitation. Therefore, again, onshore, offshore, if you have a lot of points, you can start trying this journey from offshore and see how you go. If there is no opportunity, so you can see that there is no movement within 6 months to a year, you may decide to go onshore and continue your journey and see how you go while you're going to be onshore. So that's a lot of different scenarios how you can use this program, but this program will become more and more popular because people would like to have stable status of permanent residency, and obviously some clarity and flexibility in terms of you coming to Australia as a professional, then maybe switching your career or switching main applicant to secondary applicant as a primary source of income. So 189 visa gives you this flexibility in terms of living anywhere in Australia and pretty much working anywhere in Australia as well. For the children, it's going to be free schooling. For the family overall, it's going to be Medicare card available. And then with this status, you can plan your citizenship application in at least 4 years if you're planning to stay in Australia long enough. And if you're going to be planning to bring your parents, for example, in Australia, then after you settle on a permanent visa, which is usually taking 2 years. So 2 years on 189 visa will give you an opportunity to consider bringing your parents in Australia under parents visa. As you can see, it's the quickest possible way to come to Australia and the quickest possible streamlined solution, so to say, to get the best possible outcome to get permanent residency. If you're one of the applicants who has lower points and you understand that, for example, battling through the points and getting through selection process is not for you, the next step I would recommend for anyone who is skilled enough and whose occupation is on the list to consider state sponsorship option. Again, from the 1st of July, we will be expecting more states to open for overseas applicants, maybe more flexibility in terms of criteria, more options, more quotas. So if your occupation is possibly on the both lists, so for 189 independent, and you can also consider state sponsorship option, my advice to you would be to consider both, because 189 is unpredictable in terms of processing time, in terms of selection time. For 190 or 491 visas, state sponsored visas, we have more clarity in terms of when and under what condition the applicants may be selected. So you have a better understanding on the processing time, the better understanding on the milestones of all these opportunities. And of course, you can run two scenarios together in order to at least have options. Because once you get the invitation for 189, of course, that's the best perfect scenario for everybody. But if you're working on your state sponsorship and by that time you get the invitation for 189, for example, you can also consider what's the best for you in the circumstances given, not to waste time, especially for those who are getting closer to reaching new opportunities in the age criteria. For example, if you're going to be reaching the next age group in a couple of years, it's definitely worth trying to lodge your application for occupation, both 189, 190, 491, if your occupation is available for every single list. In terms of lodgement, again, all the states have their own criteria, so it's not as streamlined, and you can start with selecting what is your occupation within this occupational list. And then if you would like to consider certain particular states and territories, it's wise to have a look what sort of job opportunities are in these states and territories for you specifically, for your occupation, to understand whether it's going to be comfortable for you to live there. If you are this person who already have skill assessment and English at least at proficient level, we have a special post-payment offer for you. How we deal with candidates like that: if you already done your skill assessment is valid and you have enough points and your occupation is on the list, we're taking those candidates on board and ready to prepare them for new financial year, including unlimited lodgement of expression of interest to any state that will have your particular occupation. and you will be able to pay for our services only when you get an invitation for the visa, which I believe is very convenient for those who would like to trust the service, and obviously for those who would like to reach the outcome and result. So, if you would like to ask me certain specific questions, please do, because we have an open live at this moment of time, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, the opportunities for 189 is going to happen every quarter, as I said. And if you would like to consider the application, my advice would be to start the lodgement at any time you're eligible in order to secure your place in the queue, and of course to be competitive in terms of your lodgement and your scoring within your occupation. So please, guys, if you would like to ask me anything, I'm happy to listen and to answer the questions. Hi, Vasil. At this moment of time, we have an expectation for WA to reopen in July. Yeah, there are a lot of occupation that was added on the list. In terms of selection for WA, it's not only a job offer, but if you noticed, the state already indicate that the preferences will be given for onshore applications first, and then it's going to be selection from overseas applicants. So likely job offer will be in place, but we will see closer to the reopening of WA to understand which potential occupation can have a job offer, or all of them will be required to have a job offer. Because if you may notice, in other states such as ACT Canberra, we have particular situation where certain occupations can even achieve 190 from overseas with job offer, or other occupations can achieve 491 without job offer, but a good job search and justification that you will have these opportunities to work in your occupation once you come in Australia. Because when we're talking about 491 visa, you still will not be linked to the particular occupation where you're migrating under certain occupation. Once the visa is granted, you don't have to stick to that occupation. You can obviously change, or you can change from primary applicant to secondary applicant, and the secondary applicant can work for 3 years. So either of applicants should have work for 3 years in order to basically transit to permanent residency. Hey, Glenna, I see that there is a new list for skilled visa, but accounting is not there. Can you still apply? So accountant occupation is very tricky at this moment of time, because we have a lot of candidates, including a lot of candidates from onshore. Unfortunately, that's why we have oversupply of accountants at this moment of time, and there is no opportunities as of now. So minding that July, August, with maybe changes in state sponsorship options. So at this moment of time, no state or territories is offering any opportunities for accountant. But options are there to obviously wait and see what's going to be happening in July, August, when we have new financial year and when state and territories will reopen. If you will have to have job offer, you'll have to start searching for work, or my advice is to start searching for work now, just in case if you have an opportunity to be invited by employer through employer-sponsored visa. Yes, correct. Vasil, Canberra said that there is a need of letter about research in the labor market. So basically for Canberra ACT, if you're applying from offshore for 491, you need to show that you've been searching for a job, and you have to show them that you have some results out of it. For example, responses from the employers saying, okay, you're offshore, we can consider you, but only when you come onshore, something like this. So you need to show them that you've been doing all and everything to achieve job offer, but it is not possible, especially if you're offshore. Okay, no problem. Happy to answer any other questions you may have, guys. Please send your question in the chat. Further to the comments about the accountant, by the way, I would like to notice that for those who would like to try, because obviously there is no guarantee that student visa will bring you to permanent residency. There is never a guarantee like that. But for accountancy, there is another potential option, is just to come onshore and then search for employer and then go through state sponsorship where you work as an accountant. Likely you need to search for the occupation and position within accountancy practice. That's the best choice of your work. And obviously during your studies and with your plan, where are you going specifically and what are you going to be studying, you can see what states will bring you to permanent residency quick enough. Because for onshore applicants, for those who are transiting onshore in order to consider further options with state sponsorship or employer sponsorship option, states are usually asking you to show that you either working in a closely related occupation, majority of states, or some states still allow applicants to work in any occupation. It's just show that you're obviously working and settling well for future migration. Okay, Yusuf, I have a positive assessment for accountant as well as finance manager. Do you think I should focus on the finance manager? You need to browse all the possible opportunities which can be available now for finance manager, because accountants are pretty much dead at this moment of time, and see whether any of these states which are currently open, it's going to be Tasmania, South Australia, ACT, Canberra, and New South Wales, including New South Wales regional, have any opportunities for yourself. If not, we're expecting other states to open, WA, maybe Victoria, maybe Queensland in July and August this year. So it may be an opportunity for you. Obviously, you need to make sure you have your English in the highest possible level. And if you partnered, consider your partner for English test at least to bring you points. Which state you feel more open for offshore application? I heard SA, South Australia is more or less open. As I said, South Australia, ACT, Canberra, South Australia, Adelaide, New South Wales, including Sydney or New South Wales regional areas, and Tasmania are currently open for offshore applications in the limited list of occupations. So you need to see what sort of occupation are you chasing, and obviously what sort of criteria each and every state impose for that particular occupation. Because the bottom line of that, South Australia does not require you to have a job offer, but South Australia would like to see professionals with 5 or even 8+ years of work experience and decent English, 7, sometimes 7.5. So it's very depends on the occupation of choice. I feel WA is more kind of closed, more obstacles to get 491 visa. Thank you for your time and insights. So WA was closed for the whole pandemic and just been announced to open in July. That's why we're still waiting for formal official reopening to see what sort of occupation, where and under what condition will be available. So certainly for those who are planning migration, as of now, the best time for you to get skill assessment, English test, and be prepared when every single state or majority of state will be reopening in July, August. Because as I said, every state has their own requirements and their own criteria. Some of them has certain window to apply. So you need to understand the process and obviously follow these steps to make your best shot. Okay, happy to answer any more questions, guys, if you like. I'm always available, and you have the best opportunity now to shoot me any questions while I'm live. Okay, I'll wait for a couple of more minutes. In the meantime, for those who are planning migration, or if you would like to have one-on-one consultation with me, please reach me out in social media or through our website. We're available to give you a hand. And as I said, we have post-payment arrangement for those who are planning skilled migration. Last question on 491 visa. Can I bring parents in visitor visas? So visitor visas are not linked to skilled visas at all. Visitor visas are assessed on their own merits. Basically, you can be on 491 visa and invite your parents for a temporary stay. But there is no restriction for you being on 491 visa to invite the parents. You can't leave the parents in Australia on permanent basis while you are on a temporary visa yourself. All right, thank you very much for the discussion today in regards to skilled visas. If you would like to have any further information, assessment, we have a variety of tools on my website, including free assessment or personal consultations. Make sure you're going to be ready for 1st of July when the state will be reopened, and where we're expecting more places for 189 visa. Thank you.